The Name of the Rose, Illinois Nome della Rosa, by Umberto Eco 1327. A comprehensive summary. Introduction, context and structure of the novel. Umberto Eco's The Name of the Rose, first published in Italian in 1980 and translated into English in 1983, is a masterpiece that defies simple genre classification. On its surface, it is a murder mystery set in an isolated Benedictine abbey in northern Italy during November 1327. Yet beneath the detective plot lies a dense palimpsest of medieval philosophy, semiotics, theology, political intrigue, and literary theory. Eco, a renowned medievalist and semiotician, constructs the novel as a labyrinth, both literal and metaphorical, that invites the reader to decode signs, question truth, and confront the tension between faith and reason, dogma and laughter. The narrative is framed as a manuscript written by Adso of Melk, now an aged Benedictine monk, who recounts events he witnessed as a young novice. Adso's manuscript was supposedly discovered in 1968 by a certain valet, translated into French, then lost, then found again and translated by the fictional narrator. This layering of translators and unreliable sources immediately signals Eco's preoccupation with interpretation, textuality, and the instability of meaning. The title itself, The Name of the Rose, derives from the final Latin hexameter, stat rosa pristina nomini, nomina nuda tenemus, yesterday's rose endures in its name, we hold empty names. It suggests that reality is accessible only through signs, and signs are all that survive time. The story unfolds over 7 days, each divided by the canonical hours of monastic life, matins, lauds, prime, terce, sext, nones, vespers, and compline. This structure mirrors the order of the abbey but contrasts with the chaos that engulfs it. The year 1327 is crucial. It is the era of the Avignon papacy, the conflict between Pope John XXI and the Holy Roman Emperor Louis IV of Bavaria, and the Inquisition's persecution of heretical movements like the Fraticelli and the Dulcinites. The abbey becomes a microcosm of 14th century Christendom, a battleground for spiritual, intellectual, and political power. Day 1, Arrival at the Abbey. Prime. Brother William of Baskerville, a Franciscan friar and former inquisitor, arrives at the abbey with his novice Adso of Melk. William is modeled partly on Sherlock Holmes and partly on William of Ockham. He is an empiricist, a lover of Aristotle, and a practitioner of proto-scientific deduction. Adso, the narrator, is young, impressionable, and torn between admiration for his master and loyalty to monastic obedience. The abbot, Abbo, greets them and immediately requests William's help. A young illuminator, Adelmo of Otranto, has been found dead at the foot of the cliffs below the abbey. Suicide is suspected, but the abbot fears scandal. The abbey is about to host a critical theological debate between representatives of the Pope and the Emperor concerning the poverty of Christ, an issue dividing the Franciscans from the papal court. A murder investigation could disrupt it. Terce. William examines the site of Adelmo's death. He deduces from the snow and the body's position that Adelmo did not fall but was thrown, or perhaps jumped from the edificium, the massive, labyrinthine building that houses the scriptorium and the library. The edificium is the heart of the abbey. Its ground floor is the kitchen and refectory, the second floor is the scriptorium, the third is the legendary library, arranged as a labyrinth and forbidden to all but the librarian and his assistant. William meets several key figures: Severinus of Sankt Wendel, the herbalist, Venantius of Salvamec, a translator of Greek and Arabic, Berengar of Arundel, the assistant librarian, who is nervous and effeminate, Malachi of Hildesheim, the taciturn German librarian, and Jorge of Burgos, an ancient, blind, venerated monk from Spain. Jorge is the abbey's moral authority. He despises laughter, arguing that Christ never laughed and that laughter undermines fear of God. Sexta Compline. William and Adso visit the scriptorium. The monks copy and illuminate manuscripts under strict rules. Venantius hints that something forbidden is in the library. That night, Adso explores the abbey and encounters a peasant girl in the kitchen. They have a brief, confused sexual encounter. Adso is racked with guilt, interpreting it through the lens of mystical love and sin. Day 2, the second death. Matins. Venantius of Salvamek is found dead in a vat of pig's blood in the abbey slaughterhouse. His body has blackened fingers and a blackened tongue. Severinus suggests poison. William finds Venantius's desk in the scriptorium. A parchment with cryptic symbols and a fragment of text suggests Venantius had been to the library secretly. Lauds to Vespers. William deciphers Venantius's notes. They reference the Finis Africae, the end of Africa, a secret room in the library. They also reference the Coena Cypriani, a satirical text, and Aristotle's lost second book of Poetics, which dealt with comedy. Jorge had earlier delivered a sermon condemning laughter as a diabolical wind that deforms the face and makes man similar to the monkey. William theorized that the murders relate to the library and a forbidden book. He and Adso attempt to enter the library at night. The edificium is a maze designed to confuse. Rooms are labeled with verses from the Apocalypse, and the layout spells Hibernia on one side. They become lost, encounter illusions, mirrors, smoke, strange herbs, and flee when they think they hear a demonic presence. Day 3, theological debate and third death. Prime. The papal delegation arrives, led by the Inquisitor Bernard Gui, a historical figure known for his ruthlessness. The imperial delegation includes Michael of Cesena, Minister General of the Franciscans. The debate on the poverty of Christ begins. It is not abstract. If Christ and the apostles own nothing, then the Church's wealth is illegitimate. Terse. Berengar of Arundel is found drowned in the bathhouse, also with blackened fingers and tongue. He had been missing. In his cell, William finds a book with a cloth used to clean pages. The cloth has traces of poison. Berengar had been assistant librarian and had access to the library. His relationship with Adelmo is revealed to have been sexual, and his guilt may have led him to the forbidden book. Vespers. Adso again meets the peasant girl. William warns him of the danger of carnal passion. Meanwhile, Bernard Gui arrests the Celera Remigio of Varagine and the hunchbacked Salvatore, accusing them of past association with the heretic Dulcineo. Their trial will become a show of inquisitorial power. Day 4, Inquisition and fourth death. Matins to Sext. Bernard Gui interrogates Salvatore, using his mixed Latin-Italian vernacular as evidence of heresy. Under torture, Salvatore confesses to anything. Remigio is also tortured. He confesses to murders he did not commit, believing it will end his suffering. Bernard declares them guilty of heresy and murder, though William knows they are scapegoats. Gnomes. Severinus the herbalist tells William he has found a strange book in his laboratory, left by Berengar. He will show it to William. But before he can, Severinus is found dead in his lab, his skull crushed with a celestial globe. The book is gone. Vespers to Carmpline. The situation deteriorates. The abbot refuses to let William investigate further, fearing Bernard Gui. William and Adso decide they must enter the library again to find the Finis Africae. Day 5, the library revealed. Night. William and Adso enter the edificium through the arsuary and navigate the labyrinth. They decode the library's plan, the room inscriptions map to the known world, with Fons Adae at the center and Africa as the hidden, forbidden section. They find the Finis Africae, a mirrored room with no exits except the one they entered. Inside, they find the means to enter, but it is empty. They are discovered by the abbot, who angrily tells them the library was built to protect knowledge, not share it. He admits that the library's secrets are meant to be kept even from most monks. The abbot then disappears. Day 6, the abbot's death and the book found. Matins. The abbot is found dead, suffocated in the library. His body has no blackened fingers. He had entered the Finis Africae and been trapped. Lords to Vespers. The delegations leave, the debate unresolved. Bernard Gui departs with Remigio and Salvatore to be burned. The girl Adso loves is also arrested as a witch and taken with them. Adso is devastated. Compline. William finally understands. The murders center on Aristotle's Poetics too, on comedy. Jorge of Burgos believes laughter destroys fear, and without fear of the devil, there is no need for God. Comedy, by making the world ridiculous, undermines truth and authority. Jorge has guarded the library for decades to prevent the book's dissemination. He poisoned the pages. The reader, licking his fingers to turn them, would ingest the poison. Day 7, confrontation and fire. Night. William and Adso enter the Finis Africae again. Jorge is there, waiting. He holds the Aristotle manuscript. He confesses. He convinced Adelmo to sin with Berengar, then drove Adelmo to suicide through guilt. He lured Venantius to the book. Venantius died reading it. Berengar found Venantius, took the book, read it in the bath, and died. Severinus found the book, so Jorge had Malachi kill him. Malachi then read the book and died. The abbot died trying to stop Jorge. Jorge eats the poisoned pages to destroy the book and himself, declaring that he has become the Antichrist to save God. In the struggle, William's lantern is knocked over. The ancient, dry library catches fire. The fire spreads uncontrollably through the edificium. William and Adso escape. The entire abbey burns. The library, repository of centuries of knowledge, is lost. Adso and William part ways. Years later, Adso returns to the ruins and collects fragments of surviving parchments, but they are scattered, meaningless signs. Conclusion, themes and legacy of the novel. The name of the rose ends not with resolution, but with ash. The great library, symbol of human knowledge and the attempt to order the world, is consumed by fire. This destruction is not accidental. It is the consequence of fear, fear of laughter, fear of new ideas, fear of the instability of meaning. Jorge of Burgos embodies the most extreme form of dogmatism, the belief that truth must be protected from interpretation, even if it means murder and the annihilation of knowledge itself. William of Baskerville represents the opposite, the empirical mind, the belief that signs can be read, that the world can be understood through reason and evidence. Yet William too fails. He solves the murders, but cannot prevent the catastrophe. His name echoes both Sherlock Holmes, Baskerville, and William of Ockham, the nominalist philosopher who argued that universals are only names. Eco suggests that even the best interpreter cannot master the labyrinth of reality. Adso, as narrator, is caught between these poles. His youthful encounter with the peasant girl teaches him that experience exceeds doctrine. His final vision of the rose, stat rosa pristina nomine, acknowledges that we never possess things themselves, only their names, their signs. The novel is thus a meditation on semiotics. All we have are texts interpreting other texts, in an endless chain. Politically, the novel dissects the 14th century crisis of authority. The conflict over the poverty of Christ reflects real historical debates that challenged papal power. The Inquisition, represented by Bernard Gui, shows how institutions use fear to maintain control. The heretical movements, Dulcinites, Fraticelli, represent the desire for a purer, simpler faith, but they too are crushed. Theologically, Eco explores the tension between the via moderna and via antiqua, between Aristotelian logic and Augustinian mysticism, between the word and the word. The library contains both sacred and profane, Christian and pagan. Its destruction suggests that any attempt to fix meaning, to declare one interpretation final, leads to ruin. As a detective story, the novel subverts the genre. Traditional mysteries restore order by revealing the truth. Here, the truth is revealed, but order is not restored. The abbey burns, the innocent die, and the book is lost. Knowledge does not save, it is fragile, contingent, and dangerous. In the end, The Name of the Rose is a book about books. It is a labyrinth about labyrinths. Eco invites the reader to become William, to follow signs, to doubt, to laugh. For laughter, as the lost Aristotle might have argued, is what makes us human. By forbidding it, Jorge sought to make men angels. Instead, he made them murderers. The rose of yesterday survives only in its name. What we hold are empty names, but in those names, stories, interpretations, questions, life continues.